What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Coach Tay. In the booth today, I got Coach Luz and Coach Marquise. Today, we're going to be talking about mental health, what it is, how do we define it culturally, and what are some ways to help get invested in it. All right, this is another Grow Get It podcast with your boy. Let's grow. All right. Welcome, welcome to it. We got to get it out. Right? All right. So, welcome to another Grow Get It podcast. Today, I got Luz and Marquise. They're actually going to be helping me out with this podcast, and we're going to try to see if we can make it a regular thing. Hopefully, right? Maybe, ish.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll definitely try.
Yeah.
Definitely. Time and planning, right? Time and planning. All right. So, today's topic, we're going to be talking about mental health and what that actually is, right? So, if anybody want to take the floor on this, like, what is mental health? Like, what is it?
Well, mental health is basically a mindset, to do better and be better. Mental health basically, like I always explain it to my clients that mental health is just a way for you to um, be better than yesterday. That's why I always tell my clients, be better than yesterday. Don't try to be better for tomorrow or the next day or next week. Just focus on being better than yesterday, and that's all you can focus on, one step at a time.
Damn, that sounds sexy.
No, that's a good way to provide that mindset to them. Like understanding to be better from before than after. Learning from what they did better yesterday and then doing today. That's pretty good. And another thing too. I mean, like mental health. A lot of people see it differently, right? But mental health is a process of emotions. The well-being of someone. Understanding, psychologically among what's going on, I know that working empowering for what's going on with you and mine, you know, um, and how can others or yourself work? I mean, obviously it's going to take time, but that's what the meaning of mental health. Not, it doesn't mean that you're crazy. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means that you're empowering your emotions. You're trying to work on that emotion that's going on. You trying to empower your mind and trying to empower yourself.
hmm
I agree.
And like I said, it's about processing those emotions, because a lot of times you relive certain things because you ain't processed the emotion correctly, and we just got to learn how to process the emotion and understand the emotion so we can move on from it instead of using that emotion negatively in your life by doing negative things.
Correct.
Exactly. I agree.
Yes, and it could be even from a childhood time to an adult time. It doesn't matter what time or what day. It could be even being an elderly person could hit you even then. So that it's very important to process it then and now than later.
Yeah, and then one point I want to make, I know Dante wanted to make a few points, but one point I want to make is the importance of actually processing your emotions, because you don't really understand the negative things you do because of not processing your emotions properly. You don't know how that's going to affect you on down the line. Like, it could be years on down the line, but it's all because you didn't process those emotions properly at that time, and it might affect you down the line. So that's why it's important to process those emotions.
Yeah. And it might not change, but at least you're able to use the coping strategies to yourself. We're not, the expectations is not to, forget about it. It's just to cope that emotion that happens to you, because that stain is gonna stay regardless of anything, but you are able to process it and understand it and go and move a little forward. You're
I love
stepping a
that.
little step forward.
I love
Yes.
it. So we already answered that question. I was going to say, yo, mental health does not mean that you're crazy. It does not mean that you're crazy. It means that you're taking one step forward and not like two steps back. Um,
Yeah.
so
I personally don't even like using that word anyway.
Thank you.
The crazy word, I personally don't like using that. And that's really stigmatized in mental health, is calling an individual crazy or being called crazy.
Exactly. And
preach.
that goes based on the cultural part.
Yeah.
It goes.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. And when it's funny that you say that, the crazy, being called crazy, or saying like, mental health, relating that to being crazy or anything like having a problem. The thing about having a problem is that problems can be fixed. Problems can be fixed only if you put in the time to fix it. So that's what I mean about taking one step forward and not two steps back, because we want to fix that problem. You know, we're not crazy for fixing the problem. If everybody was crazy for fixing the problem, we'd all have a mess ton of issues, right?
Hmm.
We all
Absolutely. That's why they say faith without works is dead. You gotta
exactly,
you gotta put the work in. You can have all the faith you want to in the world, but you gotta put the work in.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So how would, and Luz brought this up, right? Uh, she said that's what it means culturally, right? How is mental health defined to us culturally?
So, I mean, I would say, like, for example, in my culture, Latinos or Hispanic culture or Southerners or what, they see it more like, that's for crazy people, that mental health doesn't exist, you're just allowing the devils come into you, you're allowing your other people get into your head, your friends, everything, like everybody throws in fault at others, not at fault in what happens to them as a young kid or whatever, or, people don't, like, for example, in my parents' generations, like, it's just, they were taught to be tough. You have to be tough. You have to continue. Oh, well, whatever happens to you in the past, get over it, move on, and so, but they never acknowledge the hurt that that they end up in with alcohol, drugs, and everything like that, because that was the cope way to, forgetting, but not remembering that it's still going to come back and still damage you, you know. I know another thing, even up to now, some people still believe that, culturally it's just like, oh no, you're just down, you're just letting the mental health thing that doesn't exist, and you just still, think that it, no, like, when you have to explain it to people to understand it, but even if you're explaining it to them, they still don't believe it. They still believe that you're allowing others to take over you. You're just not true. You just, brainwashed. You just
I'm a, I'm a,
whatever.
I'm I'm gonna be real honest. I don't know how anybody can believe it, because at a very young age they're being told that, you know, they have the devil inside of them. Like if at a young age I'm being told I can't be mad, I can only be happy. How can you believe that? It's one of those things where you want to believe that mental health is really important, but then it's just like from a young age you've been told or you've been taught, okay, you know what, that doesn't exist. You all this stuff that you're going through doesn't exist. It's like just we
Yeah.
can. If I had some glitter, you guys, if I had some glitter, I'd be like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you absolutely made a good point. And then like coming from me, culturally, so I lived in the Bible Belt, and if you know anything about the Bible Belt,
hmm
they are very really strict in religion. And then coming from being strict in religion, being a minority as well, African American, we don't believe anything. We don't we don't believe in mental health or the police. So
Hey, we have some similarity here, man. I don't believe in mental health or anything. Like,
it's not a lot we believe in, and it's definitely because of what we've been through, culturally. That not the reason why we don't believe in those things. Because I remember even being younger, my grandma tried to pray, uh, you know, the my mental health straight. I'm like, Grandma, you can't pray this way. Like, I need some help. I need to talk to somebody. Um, yeah. So it's definitely a negative connotation when it comes to the African American community because what we've been through, like Tuskegee experiments, like a lot of things we've been through. It definitely we don't trust mental health and we don't trust doctors or we don't trust the police. So it just culturally we don't do that. So that's why I became a therapist in order to be you know in order to change that narrative.
you know what, Marcus, you brought up something very important. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you said something about you needed to speak to somebody. You needed to, express yourself and how you were feeling, and they were not listening. And that's another thing too. Like our family, like in our times and everything. Like I would say, my family's part. Like they don't believe in listening, like my mom wouldn't sit down and talk to me or anything like that, there was and stuff. So, that's also like a little situation that stained us, that we felt like, hey, we had to hold on so much. We didn't have somebody to talk to. We go to our friends, but our friends didn't know, like, let's do this, let's go get high, let's get, like, things like that, they didn't. We didn't have a professional to really sit down with us or hear us out. And I wish that it would have been our parents to really sit down with us and talk to us and hear us out, because that would have been a better way for us to express ourselves and empower ourselves even more. But
Absolutely.
culturally they wouldn't listen. They say, no, just get over it, vete para allá, go over there, like things like that. You get me? Like they shoot you
Yeah.
away. Yeah, figure it out. Like you're doing too much. Like get away. Like even the time, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I used to be an emo girl. Like the rock style stuff.
Used
Like that. With the chain in my neck. My mom was trying to do the brujeria, as they call it, witchcraft on me to try to take the demon out of me. And I was just like, really, mom? Like that's just my
Were you
style.
doing the dance
You
too?
get me? Huh?
She's doing the
Were you doing
dance.
the dance too?
Hey, I went too. But you know what though? Like my mom was trying to, like I was just like, why? Like I'm just, this is my style. That's my way of, just who I am. But that's really like a lot. Like we do. Like everybody has their own trauma, their own emotions, and ways where, like, man, I wish that we had mental health in our time. But I think that to myself, like I wish I could have had somebody, a professional, sit down and talk to me. But of course,
Piggybacking off.
I didn't feel comfortable either, because like our parents would tell us, if you tell anybody, we're gonna get in trouble, this and that, and you get scared, you were already afraid, your parents put fear on you already, and you had to respect that. What stays in the house, doesn't go out of the house.
And that's why we need to listen to understand instead of listen to respond.
Ooh.
Agree.
Ooh.
I love that. Yes.
Nice.
I think I heard that from Dante one time. I heard that from him with Sierra Tucson one day.
Man.
Yes.
I'm just gonna say, Marquise, at the end, I got you for the quotes. You're gonna do a little exit speech, bro. Luce, back to what I was piggybacking off of what you were saying. About the whole culture. It's interesting because when I see the stuff that my parents went through and they've been put through, it's always that I'm doing things differently. My parents did this to me. It was way worse than what I'm doing to you, right? And I think now that today's generation is seeing that, it's like we're providing our parents that benefit of the doubt, right? They didn't know. And culturally, in that culture, you know, like what was not done to me, which could have been way worse than what was done to them, you know, now it's like, hey, you might need to go get checked out. You know, now I feel like things are changing, but before it was like I don't want anybody to be labeled. You know, you better not talk about it. You it's just the devil. It'll pass. Just keep it going. You know, and one of my famous quotes that I'm gonna say off the top, whether they get mad at me or not, it was, well, why are you mad? You don't pay rent. That's regarding your mental health. There's something that has to be wrong in order for you to be mad, right? There's something that has to be wrong, or something that has to have happened in order for you to be mad. And when I was told, why are you mad? You don't pay rent. It's like, yo, you can't be mad. You can't be mad. And I used to hold back my anger so much to where, like, I don't know, I'd want to fight somebody, or I'd just kind of like not remember things, you know? So like, it was taught to me not to have this emotion, or I shouldn't have this emotion. And these emotions were because of issues that I was having. So in the beginning, we said, like, what is mental health? You know, like, what is mental health? And my response is taking one step forward and not two steps back. If I'm going to solve a problem, I'm taking one step forward to solve that problem, instead of taking two steps back and being like, oh no, it's okay, I shouldn't be doing this, you know? No. You know, so like, culturally, we were just told not to engage in our problems, not to engage in anything that makes us seem crazy, right?
Yeah.
We're taught.
Yeah, and I also do want to piggyback off what you just said for a second, and understand that, you know, mental health is a process, and you might take two steps back, but you have to understand the process and know that it might come to that situation where you take two steps back, but know that you need to make those incremental steps forward still, regardless if you take two steps back or not. Because a lot of times, you in therapy, it'll get a lot worse before it gets better.
Yeah. Yes, agree. Yeah. And another thing too, you know, culturally, you know, like I'll say, you know, we have to break the chain, you know, like, even if we have that, you know, situation in our past and everything like that, we have to figure it out and how to help others to break that chain. You don't have to follow the same pattern as your own mother that taught you, you know, because of course also, you know, I don't know if, you know, I have a child, you know, and everything like that, and so I don't want to pass this on to my kid, you know, she continued doing it, you know, I still have rules, I still have structure, but, you know, it's not going to be like, oh, you know, like it was, you know, from before, you know, I have to break the chains. I'm sitting down listening to you, you know, you need to express yourself, you need to let me know what's going on, you know, but then again, still giving her space, you know?
I feel you,
still
Luz.
giving you your space, still giving you, make sure that you're okay, make sure that you're safe. So breaking that chain is our priority. That's what I say, and your stability is priority for everything. I'll share that, you know, just very important for everybody. Because I always think about other my clients as well, where they'd be like, well, if I have kids, I wish they would. I heard it from one of my kids. I say, oh, so we're going to continue the pattern. So like, we need to cut that chain right there. So I have to say
exactly. That was deep. Did you like the music I played for you?
Yes.
Oh, you play that?
Yeah, that's that inspirational music.
I didn't know where that music came from. I'm like, God.
I know.
It was like, is that you?
You thought it was me, Marcus? You thought it was me? Let me play this music for myself.
I had to hit her with the inspirational, because she going off on it. She like, yeah. I was feeling it too. That was perfect time right there.
I'm glad you said something about it, because I didn't know where that music was coming from.
All right, Marquise, your turn to close it out with the inspirational music. Go, go, go.
Guys, we just have to be better than yesterday. Know that you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. Whatever you dream of, dream big. We can do this. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. We might can't use that. We might can't use that. That's not mine.
Hey, that was good anyways. I love it. We're using
You're
that.
right, though. You're right. Love it or not. Love it so much. It's really important.
Here we go. My turn, I guess. Never take for granted what you have today. Because someday is what means the most. Be present in everything that you do. When times get hard, I need you to be present. When the road gets rough, be present. When you're with your family, be present. Because the time that you have now, it doesn't last forever. So be present. Be present today. Be present tomorrow. And like Marquise said, the past is the past. So be present. Amen.
Man, you
Hit my heart.
there was
Love it.
definitely mindfulness right there.
Love it, love it. You know what? You're right. Very important about that. Yes. Even if you know you feel like there's no present, no past, whatever, still going on. Keep going on. You're doing you.
Exactly.
Yes.
Surviving day by day. That's awesome. You woke up today, you woke up the following day, keep going.
Absolutely.
You
Keep
made
going.
It. You made it. Yes. You made it.
Let's be mindful. Let's stay in the present.
Exactly. Be present. Be mindful. Hey, that was awesome. That was awesome. I got to clap. That was great. That was great.
Love it.
There's no script to this. Man. All right. So, back to the conversation, because I love this conversation. I love this dynamics, like this group that we have. What are some ways? What are some ways that people can make that first step or take that first step? How can we inspire people to take that first step? You know.
Can I share something?
Go for it.
I'm going to be honest to you. It took me a while to see a therapist myself. Even if I work in the mental health department and everything like that, you know, I felt like I'm very strong-minded and everything, and I didn't need to talk to somebody. But then I came to realize that talking to your friends is not helpful a lot. You know, it's better to talk to a stranger that's going to hear you out professionally and help you, you know, brainstorm that person. And that person won't make you feel guilty or shame or anything like that, you know. And I feel like this is something that I always tell my kids, you know, like, I'm going to be honest, and I tell them, like, it was hard for me. I was 38 years old, and I just seen a therapist, you know, but it took me a lot of guts to do it, because I felt like, why am I in this position? Why am I doing this? But then again, I had to empower my mind by getting the support from somebody who is a stranger, not by my friends, not by my family, not by anybody, because I felt like my friends and my family were making me feel ashamed to what was going on into my life, mentally and emotionally. And it was stressing me, and it was giving me anxiety off the roof. Even if you have a partner, like, they're there for you supportively, but you still felt like they were not empowering that life of yours, you know? So you had to get that empowered by somebody who will help you and guide you, to give you a routine, you know? And so it's hard to even come across, like searching into resources and everything like that, and luckily enough I was able to know how to do my own resource and my own support and how to go through and what to understand. But not many people unfortunately have that opportunity to understand that there is a mental health resource out there. There are support out there. There are people who are willing to guide you and help you. Yes, in order for you to qualify, you have to have insurance, or you have to have Medicare, or money out of pocket or something, in order for you to get that support, and sometimes it's hard because some people don't have money financially, sometimes some people only have Medicare, but it's a possibility they might qualify, they might not qualify, some people have, here in California would be Medicare, and I don't know, every state has their own little set of rules, and not all states unfortunately have a lot of mental health services support, because some of them don't believe in that, right? And so, but I mean, there's always a solution to everything, and there's always someone or some support out there that's gonna guide you and help you to get to the place that you want to go. It could be a therapist, it could be a support counselor, it could be a teacher, it could be, somebody. DCFS. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like DCFS. I'm gonna say it. A lot of people don't like social workers, But hey,
Nope.
they got the tools to give you the resource that you need. Like even if, hey, let me go to the court and let me see if the court have resources that they could give me. Why do you need these resources? I just need it because for myself. Like I feel like some of the courts do have the resources. They should have the resources, right, for the people who need that help. You get me? Hospitals, doctors especially have a lot of resources and tools to provide to those who need it. Because I know that a lot of our kids come into suicidal situations and everything, and doctors come in there and they talk to them. Hey, there is therapists for you. There is here. We're here. There's, the hospital has a department where they could provide you all these tools. Like here in California, I noticed that they have a lot of resources, and I really appreciate that. I myself had gone to a lot of those what is it called, those fairs and all that stuff where they have a lot of resources. I have come a lot across, even before I became before I started working for the mental health department, I was a teacher assistant, and so I didn't know that these resources were out there. Like I did not know about this. I was just like, man, like working in this department, I learned so much, and I was like, man, I love this job. I love what I do. This is something that I've been wanted in my life. I knew that there was something out there. I knew that there's tools out there. I knew it. Came, and I'm very happy of it. And I love the fact that there's food banks, there's clothing banks, there are a lot of like LGBTQ support facilities, there are shelters, there is so many resources, but in order for you to get there, you just have to take a step forward in order for you to say, okay, I am ready to really join myself into getting the support I need. Because sometimes you cannot let that that what is it called, that manhood on you, or that womanhood, whatever there's control of you. Like, don't feel embarrassed to get the help. Like, just take a step forward and be like, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to help myself. And I'm not gonna lie to you, at 38 years old that I spoke with that therapist, I felt so relieved.
Yeah.
I did not feel shame. I did not feel embarrassed. I did not feel belittled. I did not feel like nothing. I was just like, man. And my friends couldn't help me in a point where I felt like I was embarrassed and ashamed when they tried to tell me certain things. But taking a step, just let it happen, let it be, take it step, don't be ashamed, because your friends can't help you, your family cannot help you, somebody else could help you better than anybody else. That's how I do
Yeah.
it.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And it
Thank
kind
you.
of yeah. And to ask you a question, how did it feel that you went and got that help?
I felt better. I felt like that little inner child of me was finally able to talk. Like I finally able to release my emotions. I finally able to. I get a little emotional about it because it made me feel very relieved. And Dante, I think you knew what I'm talking about. What happened and everything, what I was going through. Yes,
Yeah.
and it took me courage to do it. It took me courage to do it. Like I really felt like good, and I felt better. And I thank my therapist for the support he gave me. I really did. I thank him a lot and everything like that. And I appreciate everything he tried to do to empower me again. And it helped a lot. It really did. It really did.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
absolutely. And if I can make one point before we move on, people think that people are weak when they ask for help, but definitely do not agree with that statement. You are strong for asking for help.
Yeah.
Just want to let everybody know that you are strong for asking for help. Because weak people don't ask
Exactly.
for help.
Yes, exactly. I
Exactly.
agree. Yes. And I'm not gonna lie to you, man, that made me stronger than what I felt before. I always thought that I was strong, but it made me stronger. That's what I say.
Yes,
Like I still
you are
say
definitely you are definitely strong for asking for help.
yes, and that's what I'm gonna say I does because like if getting to even now, like if I know I'm having a stressful moment, guess what? I could have somebody that I could talk to, like I'm not gonna be afraid in going into there and be like, hey, I need to talk. Like and it feels really good. It really does. I feel a lot. And then you know what? Another thing too, um, your job that you work for should be the most priority person that help you and support you. Like I really love my job. I would say I'm not gonna say I don't because I love my job so much. We do have stressful moments, but guess what? Like no matter what, self care is important. Like that's a very good thing,
Yeah,
and they empower
Ooh,
us. Self care,
exactly.
take care of yourself,
yeah,
like mentally, emotionally. If your family passed, guess what? Take the day off. Don't worry about it. You're stressing out. Take the day off. Like I love that so much, and I appreciate it so much. You
That's a
know.
very supportive job.
yeah. And just like Dante asking me to be on this podcast, he's a strong person for doing that.
Yes.
I appreciate you. I
And,
appreciate you.
and you know what, Dante? The only reason why I said I want to be part of this is because I feel like we don't have a lot of resource like a lot of YouTubes or programs or broadcasts that really sit down and talk about mental health the way we're doing it today. Like I feel like
Exactly.
they talk about other things, but they don't talk about how can you get into the resources, who do you call, like and how do you do this? What's the step to do? Like they don't do that, like they don't go detail to detail, and I think this is very important. This broadcast I feel like is very important for everybody to hear and hear it out, like and admire it. If they have questions, hey, like don't be afraid, just here in California, we have the 411 or the 211. It's a nonprofit. Phone call. They give you all these resources, and you get it. You need a lawyer, 211 or 411. I think they change it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the same in Arizona as well. I'm not sure, or no, different. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely say, going to say, like, I appreciate both of you for coming on this podcast and doing this with me. Something that, some ways that I feel like we can take the next step as far as like towards our mental health is just kind of like overcoming the fear of asking for help, which a lot of us have fear of asking for help because we're supposed to be strong, and being strong doesn't mean that you can't ask for help. you know the greatest minds in the world created like $1 million company because they asked for help. They hired other departments, they hired other people with other intelligences because they didn't have that resource. They didn't know what to do. So they hired help, they asked for help, and they made it.
Yeah.
So you're strong if you ask for help. Don't look at it as a weakness. Look at it as like a strength. I feel like that's one of the first steps, and then like the second step I feel it would be like acceptance. You have to accept that something needs to change in order for you to change it. If you don't
Yeah, you
accept
gotta
that.
have that. Yeah, you gotta have that radical acceptance.
Yeah.
exactly
Hey, with
man.
Dante, I agree with you, man. If those companies were able to get the resources and get that, let's say that building they wanted, that I want a hotel, and they got the resources, the engineer, the people, and everything to empower what they wanted because they set their mind to it. So when you set your
Exactly.
mind and your heart to it, you get there. But step by step, we're not mental health. I would say mental health department or mental health in general is not requesting for you to change to one day or another. The miracles don't happen in within the 6 months, 3 months, 1 month. No, it's a process. It takes years, you know. And so I always say this to all my parents. I'm like, it takes time. It takes time. Even that little time, that 90 days, 60 days, man, or that one day that they did good, man. Praise them. Thank you for taking out the trash. Thank you for doing this. Like it's just empowering everybody. Yeah, like, hey, when I, like, for example, when I say thank you, like, for example, my husband cooked me food. I said, thanks, babe, I appreciate it, you know? Everybody loves that. And, you know?
I definitely, he'll definitely cook again for you thanking him. I
Yeah.
Exactly,
guarantee it.
exactly.
Yeah, like, oh, thank you for watching my trash. Like, you know, even like when my kid does something good, or thank you, I appreciate you did an awesome job. I'm very proud of you. You know, you pick up your D to a C. I'm happy for you. You get me? Like things like
Exactly,
that.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how you gather that resource to empower your mind. Is that, you know, just by saying thank you to somebody and thanking, appreciating everything, and going forward to, you know, one day at a time, and one day at a time.
Exactly, exactly. All right. So I feel like that's the end of this podcast. Any last words?
No, Dante, what do you think? You think you have your last word to this? This is your end, honey. Your end.
The music from heaven. Who's doing the inspirational closeout?
I choose Dante.
I choose Dante too.
All right. Here we go. So in this podcast, we talked about what mental health is, how it's defined culturally, and some ways that we can help push that progress towards our own mental health, right? I want you to always remember this. Your mental health does not make you crazy. Crazy is a strong word that has a stigma to it because of all the traditions and all the things that were passed down from generations to generation. Within your culture, you have the chance, you have the opportunity to make a change. You don't have to do things traditionally. We always want to make sure that we accept that there was something, or there is something that needs to change. We may not change our entire culture. That may not be something that we can change, right? But we can make baby steps towards change. And when you make these baby steps, you're preventing some of the things that you didn't like that happened to you upon a second generation. Because that's where generational curses come from. It's not brought about by witchcraft. It's brought about by someone not making or not having the will to change, not accepting that something needed to change. So when things get tough, we want to make sure we overcome that fear of asking for help, because asking for help only makes you stronger.
Yes, sir. I agree.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right. Next, let's just get the outro. Let's go.